So a quick agenda for today, we're just going to talk about all of the quoting options that you have access to with CID and USLI. And then really we're going to dive right into this new online quoting platform with a demonstration. We'll finish it up with some takeaways. And then, of course, any questions. You can chat them in at any point in time if you would like to, and we'll get to them as soon as we can. So USLI currently has 55 products that you all are able to quote with us directly, either over the phone or online. We also will always take a paper application or an email submission if that's currently how you're doing things. Those would be processed through CID. But when quoting with USLI directly, you can quote these products with no accord forms or applications. Lots of great flexibility. We have some extended quoting hours for that phone quoting option, chat features online, and then the ability always to talk to that USLI underwriter who is going to provide some great service. So the phone quoting option, that number that's listed there on your screen, 877-969-7539, is going to connect you directly to a team of underwriters that sit at USLI. Hopefully some of you on here are a little bit familiar with these phone and web quoting platforms to begin with, but that underwriter is going to ask you a series of 5 to 10 questions, depending on the type of risk that you're calling in for, talk through any nuances of that risk, answer any questions that you might have, and then present the quoting terms. So they'll give you your premium, your limit options, et cetera, based on the information that you've given. That phone number is available from 4 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Saturdays Pacific Standard Time. So we do have a little bit of extended quoting hours there for you in the morning. Hopefully nobody's getting up as early as 4 a.m., but I know sometimes, 7, 8 a.m., you might be up working, so we are available. And then, of course, you can quote online 24/7. So really our focus today is going to be that online quoting platform, but I do always like to point out all of the products that you can quote over the phone as well as online. So you can see, again, that phone number is listed at the top there, and then a list of all of the products. So we can offer commercial lines, professional, nonprofit, some personal lines, and then, of course, special events, which are a big product online as well as over the phone, but a little bit of an exciting piece of that is that you can bind those online as well. So I'm going to go over to share my screen now and do just a live demonstration of the web, and then we'll get back to the presentation. So when you want to quote online with CID, you're going to go to their website, cidinsurance.com. If you do go to cidinsurance.usli.com, it will bring you directly to the USLI quoting page, but I just like to make sure that I can show you where to find it on their homepage. So it's very simple. You're just going to scroll down. You're going to see those 3 options of quoting that we've talked about: submitting, phone quote, and then in the middle here, the web quote. So we'll go ahead and click on that. You can scroll down, you can see there's no applications needed. Again, that phone number is there in case you needed assistance and you wanted to call in. Some special information there based on your billing, broker fees, commissions, which is really nice. And then you're going to see here all of those products that we just had up on the screen. So you can pop each of these open depending on what you're looking to quote, and then you'll be connected into the USLI product page. So when I pop that open, I'm just going to select today, a home-based business. Pretty simple. It is going to take us to the USLI login. So hopefully this immediately looks different to you if you haven't quoted on the new platform yet. People like to joke that our old platform was like Craigslist and the new web quoting platform is like Amazon. But the first time that you log in, you're going to be prompted to create a login. So we'll hit continue. This is a fake email address that I just made up because I wanted to show you what this looks like that first time. So you're going to hit send verification code, and it's going to send a verification code to that email. You're going to type it in there, hit verify, and you'll be all set. What you're going to do is create a new password, which you can use any password that you want. There's not like a ton of parameters. If you wanted to use the old password that you used for the old website, you could do that as well. It's not going to recognize that and kick it out as a previously used. Your first name, last name, and agency name if you have never quoted with CID and USLI online before. If you have quoted with us and you had a login through the old platform, it will recognize your email address. You'll need to do a new password, but first name, last name, agency name won't appear. So don't let that alarm you if it doesn't. So I will go ahead and log in here. So this is what it will look like once you're all set up. And it'll take you right into the quoting page for that original product that you clicked on. So we chose a home-based business. So what I will do is go ahead and just fill this out, test. It's super easy. State, we'll do California since it popped up there, nice and easy. We'll say no losses or claims. Business description, we'll say it's a photographer. I'll hit continue. We see a lot of these like kind of wedding based stuff on the home based business product, like DJs, photographers, all that stuff. They usually just have some equipment in their home. Maybe people are coming to pick up videos or whatever it might be. And so they want to have a little bit of extra coverage. 123 Main Street. Zip code 90210, my favorite California zip code. We'll leave it as the special replacement cost. That all works. $5,000 for business personal property. You can increase that if you wanted to. I'll leave that as is for today. But just so you know, those are editable. You can select the different limits. 300, 600. That probably seems fine for a smaller wedding photographer. But again, you can edit any of these as needed. So if you wanted to do 1 million, 2 million, you could. We'll say their annual gross receipts are 40,000. They would need to be added as an AI, maybe for some of these venues, they might require it in case somebody, trips over a cord or something like that. And we'll say no blanket additional insured or for designated person. So then we'll go ahead and hit continue. But you can see one of the nice things about this new platform, instead of going from page to page, is that it kind of worked yourself down that quoting. So if you wanted to scroll back up and edit anything, it's a lot easier than it was on the old platform. So this is a super easy one. It loaded up a quote for us here. One thing I want to point out before we really dive into the quote, maybe you ran into a question on how to answer something during that quoting process, or even now looking at this page, maybe you're like, oh gosh, I want to raise the premium, or I want to raise the limits, whatever it might be. You could chat in to that same team of underwriters that's answering the phone at the office. So, we'll fill all this out and I'll kind of show you guys what this looks like. We'll say it's a test and then let's chat. And you can see there where you are in line. I will say chat is a very quick way to get in touch with the underwriters. You can also call by clicking this phone number here. Clicking this if you do have a soft phone connected to your phone. So we'll go ahead and X out of that. If you do have a soft phone, you can click, and again, you can see those hours listed there as well. What's really nice about the chat feature is if the chat feature is offline, so it's an after hours, it just won't show up at all. So you'll never chat in and just be waiting thinking that somebody's gonna come on. The PDF, you can click here as well to view that applicant quote that is showing here. So you can see we have the test listed, which is the policy name. If you wanted to add an inception date, choose your payment options, you could do that. You can see down here those limits that we selected. If you wanted to edit any of that, you could do that and kind of see how that affects the premium. So say we wanted to see, okay, what is a 500, 1 million? Then you could hit this recalculate button here and it will recalculate with those different limits so that you can take a look at what that premium might be. Actually looks like the premium didn't go up very much, so it might make sense to offer, those higher limits. If you wanted to take a look at the endorsements that are on the policy, you could click that endorsements tab, scroll down, and all of these are clickable and it will pop open any one of those endorsements. You can edit the account information like the mailing and billing address if you wanted to do that in here. If you wanted to add any additional coverages, edit any of that information that you added in earlier. You could do that here as well. And then the other tab is really just for some options if you wanted to list their DBA on their policy, their website, whatever. And then that commission is listed there as well. So this is where you're going to get all of that information. You can open the quote letter here as well as view the applicant quote via PDF. You can share this directly from the platform. So this is a new feature of the website. You could share it with yourself. You could email it to yourself, or you could email it to your client. Maybe you take a look at this and you want somebody at CID to have eyes on it. They are getting copies of these quotes, but if you wanted to send, your contact an additional email, you could send them this quote. And then you'll see here at the top this attention button. So this is going to let you know that there is additional eligibility questions that would be needed in order to bind. So you have this premium based on the information that you've given for the instant quote. If you're happy with this premium, I always recommend going up here and hitting this finish eligibility, because what it's going to do, it's going to take you to all of these additional questions that need to be answered in order for binding. So you can see here, does the applicant employ more than 3 people? We'll say no. Does not have an office outside of their residence, and they don't own any other businesses or franchises. We'll hit continue. And then you can see here that you've finished up that quote. There's no more items that are going to be needed in order to bind. All you're going to have to do is send your bind request to instant quote CID, which is submissions@cidinsurance.com, along with any other additional information needed. But since you completed that eligibility, you should have a complete application filled out. And I can show you what that looks like here by hitting the PDF and hitting view applicant quote. Sometimes the PDFs take a minute or so to load. While we're waiting for that to load, what I can do is I can go back here and I can show you what your dashboard looks like, the forms library, and then our homepage. So the way that CID's website is set up, you're selecting that product before you come into USLI's quoting page. So it brings us right into that home-based business quoting page where we just started with the named insured. Our dashboard is going to be where you can see all of your previous quotes that you've done with USLI online. So this doesn't include anything that you submitted via email or called in over the phone. It is just going to be your online quotes, but you do have the ability to see them here. And then if you wanted to come back into and maybe edit a quote that you did last week, you could click this little actions and hit edit, and it will bring you right back to that page that we were just on with all of the information. You could hit that view quote letter button, which is what was loading for us at the top. So let's see if that popped up yet. No, it didn't. Weird. Hopefully that'll show up before we finish up today. And you can see your expiring quotes down here as well. If you wanted to search, hopefully you have so many quotes at some point with USLI that you have to search to find it. But you can do that up there as well. The forms library, this is a new feature of the website as well. So what's really cool here is you actually have the ability to search some of our marketing materials, our different forms, or even different applications, endorsement forms, etc. So I like to show kind of how to use this. There is so much information on this forms library, but I think one of the most important and coolest things is some of our marketing materials. So say you're going to a concessionaire vendor fair next week for the holidays, and you wanted to hand out your business cards and let them know that you could write their little craft stand or their home-based craft business, whatever it might be. You could come in here and you could search the word vendor. And then it turns out we have all these things here. We could even minimize it more and hit marketing. And then you could see here claims examples, the coverages that we can offer, some information. Our press release is usually like our general information. So you could open this up You could print these out. None of my stuff is loading today. There must be something wrong. I'm so sorry, guys, that I can't show you. Hopefully it works on your end. But if you click these, it would pop up that marketing piece with claims examples. So you could staple your business card, a couple of these marketing pieces, and say, hey, give me a call if you want to get this insured. And you could do that with really any of USLI's products. We see that a lot. People do that with wedding venues if they want to write some more weddings. You can see here all of the different, arts and culture product examples, lots of different good marketing materials that if you wanted to utilize them, you could. You can also search over here on the left-hand side if you wanted to do that by product category. And then finally, that start a quote button, that's really going to be like the home page. Once you've completed that quote that you came to CID's website for, if you wanted to maybe scroll through here and see if there was anything else you could get quoted, we also list all of our products here on this home start a quote page. So this lists everything that's eligible for web and phone quoting. You can see at the top, there's still that phone number there. You can call in if you needed. The chat feature gets enabled once you actually click that start a quote button. But you can see there's lots of different ways to search. And I think this is a really helpful page, especially if you aren't super familiar with USLI's appetite, because it gives you lots of different ways to narrow down maybe what exactly it is you're looking for. So by product type here, by coverages, we're looking for directors and officers. You can click on that and it minimizes it to all of those products that we can quote on the nonprofit side of things for directors and officers. Type of policy, primary excess umbrella, and then of course we have a nice big search bar here. I always like to give a little bit of a disclaimer with this search bar is it's going to search our class codes. So if you search something in here and you don't quite see it, it might just be because we don't have a specific class code that's named that, but it doesn't necessarily mean we don't have a product for it. So again, if you can't find something that you're looking for, it never hurts to call in and just ask if that's something that USLI is a market for. One thing I do want to point out is our compare feature down here. So when you scroll through, you might be trying to write a nonprofit organization and it's, say, a sports league. So you're scrolling through, you see nonprofit management liability. Oh, that looks good. I'll hit this compare button and then we'll kind of see what some more information looks like. Oh, wait, Sports Advantage. This looks like it might be a little more specific to what I'm looking for. So I'll hit this compare button and see which product do I really want to write this under. So this is comprehensive management liability coverage, and this is designed specifically for sports groups. And it looks like it also offers general liability along with that directors and officers and employment practices, where this one only offers fiduciary and employment practices. So you would see, oh, we do need GL, or you know what, we don't need GL. We're going to go with this one. So that's kind of how you can use that compare feature for lots of different products. So when you do quote online, I do like to always share, there is the possibility that you get to that end page and you don't get a quote. So we went through a full quote today. You saw the premium, you saw how to send yourself all of the applicable information from the platform. In the case that you fill out all the information and it turns out that the risk needs some additional underwriter review, you're going to get sent to this screen here and it's going to say it requires underwriter review. You can either call or chat or hit this continue. The reasons will be listed there. So I always recommend calling or chatting if it's something that you think you can work through pretty quickly. A lot of times those underwriters can review it right then and there. And then again, you're getting that quote in just a few minutes. If it needs an application or something that you need to fill out later, you can always submit that later, but I always recommend just calling or chatting when you get to this page to kind of figure out what you might need. So don't be alarmed if you get here. A lot of times the underwriters via phone or chat can still assist. So just some takeaways again from today to reiterate the new features of the website. You have the ability to search and compare coverages and products. You can scroll through those questions to make it a little bit easier to navigate. You can send out those quotes to the insured from the system, and you can access all of those forms in that forms library that we talked about. And then you have the ability to view those existing and expiring quotes in your dashboard.